Yo, one of the most expensive skills that Airbnb hosts need in 2026 is knowing which problem needs to be solved first. Because in my experience, most hosts tend to react too fast. They're in a situation where bookings slow down even just a little bit and they start dropping the price. A guest complains and so they panic and give out refunds. If a review even mentions Wi-Fi once, suddenly they're replacing the router instead of fixing the actual issue. And y'all, a lot of times as hosts, we don't realize that we're solving the wrong problem until we've already started losing money. And I know this because over the last 11 years, my partner William and I have hosted over 10,000 guests. And over the past 12 months, I've audited over 100 listings. And I realized that most hosts that are struggling aren't lazy. They just tend to be overwhelmed. And when these things start to happen to us, y'all, as hosts, we start acting emotionally instead of diagnostically. And that's where ChatGPT has completely changed how I operate our Airbnb business. And you may already be using ChatGPT more than likely as a writing tool. But what I'm talking about here is ChatGPT as a decision-making tool. And so in this video, I'm going to show you the 4 most expensive Airbnb problems I now use ChatGPT to help us diagnose before we even make a decision. And y'all, don't worry, I'm going to give you all the prompts, you're going to get the data, but most importantly, you're going to get what we actually do with the answers that it gives us back. And the answer is actually not the win. The decisions that we make with those answers, well, that is the win. So let's start with one of the most expensive problems we face as hosts, getting the right pricing. And if you're like me when we first started, you end up with a slow week. The very first thing your brain tells you to do is go ahead and touch that price. And y'all, I get it. I used to do the very same thing. You go ahead and drop your rate $20, then $30, then suddenly you're in a situation where you start to question everything. The minimum stay, the photos, the titles, the cleaning fee even. And here's what I've learned the hard way, both from our own business as well as some of the audits I've conducted over the past year. And in a lot of cases, the pricing isn't even the real issue. The listing's not converting. Your first 5 photos is a little bit weak. The category that you're in is the wrong category for your market. In some cases, an amenity that a guest is searching for may not be fully captured in your listing, but price, well, it tends to feel like the easiest thing to change in under 30 seconds. So that's where you automatically go first. And these mistakes, well, they don't show up immediately, but usually after about 6 weeks or so, your bookings may still feel unstable, except now you're attracting the worst guests at a much lower price, a potentially even worse scenario. And I call this the expensive guest. And so y'all, before I even put one finger on that price, I go and pull that raw data, export it directly from Airbnb. And you don't want the dashboard summary. What you actually need is the CSV file. Every reservation, lead times, length of stay, nightly rates. And I go and drop that into ChatGPT and I basically ask it to break down where revenue is leaking and whether I'm looking at a pricing problem or a positioning problem. And that last part of it matters because you do not want it to give you happy talk. You're looking for sober advice. And in a lot of ways, what I'm trying to get is a second pair of eyes on the decisions that I'm making in our business. And when I ran this a few weeks ago, here's one thing that it caught for me. Our weekday bookings were somewhat softer than where they should have been, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and at first, I assumed that weekday demand was just weak for this particular time of the year. But Thursdays and Fridays, well, they were still getting booked. So demand clearly still existed. We were just attracting the wrong guests for weekdays. And that one decision changed the profitability profile for this property. And that is because when I looked into it further, our weekday guests in our market were not tourists. It was in fact remote workers. Think traveling nurses, think a contractor in town for a project. And I can tell you, if your listing does not immediately signal that this place is built for you, that guest will scroll right past you. And so the solution was not dropping the price. It was in fact repositioning the listing. And so here's what we changed. We changed the first 5 photos. We verified the Wi-Fi speed using the Airbnb app. You got to do it in the app now, y'all, if you want to get credit for it. We also added workspace focused language and then adjusted our minimum stays during the week. And once we made those micro tweaks to this listing, the booking started coming back in without us racing to the bottom on our price. And that was a huge shift for us because before this, the pattern looked something like this. Slow bookings, panic discount, and really sit back and actually hope that this works. And now our pattern looks more like this. Export the data, data, find the pattern, make the right and strategic decision based on that data. And once I realized the issue was not actually pricing, but who we were actually attracting, that meant that I had to look somewhere else that most of us, frankly, ignore as hosts. I had to look at the reviews. And I have to confess something, y'all. For the longest time, I thought that doing competitor research meant scrolling Airbnb, looking at their photos, checking prices, seeing who had a hot tub. But even saying this out loud, I realized that that is actually operating at the surface level. And that is because guests are not comparing your listing to 2 or 3 others anymore. They're scrolling past dozens of listings on Airbnb.com, sometimes hundreds of listings before one of them catches their eye. They decide to click to learn more. And this may sound really obvious, but if your listing looks like everybody else, you will disappear in the scroll. And so the real question is, why are guests choosing certain listings and ignoring the others? What frustrations keep repeating in the market? And really, what is the market already telling me that I'm missing? And this is where ChatGPT became incredibly useful. I call this review mining. And honestly, this has completely changed how I categorize and position our 12 listings on Airbnb. So here's what I do now. I build a concept. Now I'm talking about 3 to 5 listings, same neighborhood, same bedroom count, same guest type, same general price range. And what I want you to think about, this concept will include all the listings that you're actually competing against every time a guest searches your market. And y'all, this must be approached strategically. Don't pull listings that are not similar to yours. Now, once I do this, I go ahead and pull their reviews, as many of their reviews as I can find. And I drop those reviews into ChatGPT, and then I ask, what complaints keep repeating? What praise keeps repeating? Who are these guests? And where is the market still underserving this population? And no surprise, that last question is the most important part of the prompt, because this is not just about snooping on your competitors. I'm trying to find the gap that exists in the market. And y'all, I can tell you, one of the first times I did this at scale, the patterns were everywhere. Parking confusion, weak Wi-Fi, checking instructions that arrived too late, kitchens that may look beautiful in the photos but did not work functionally when someone actually went in there and tried to cook a meal. And what hit me from this was the market was trying to tell us exactly what mattered the entire time. Most of us, including me, was probably not listening carefully enough. And honestly, y'all, this is where I think a lot of us as hosts miss the opportunity. So your niche, your most competitive category, is not always something that you just invent out of whole cloth. A lot of times your niche is already sitting there right inside your reviews. You're just not listening closely enough. And these reviews will tell you who's booking your property, why are they booking your property, and what almost made them not book your property, which is critically important too. And importantly, from this analysis, you're also going to find out, why did they leave you a 5-star review or lower? And for us, well, this changed everything, because we thought that we were writing for a generic weekend traveler. But when we looked at the reviews and the booking patterns, that wasn't actually our strongest guest at all. Our strongest guest was more specific. We were getting remote workers, traveling nurses, parents visiting their kids at college, people relocating temporarily. So instead of trying to sound generally appealing to everybody, we started trying to become specifically useful to our core niche, our core category of bookers. And that changed our positioning completely. Instead of saying things like cozy home near downtown, we started positioning our listings around things like verified high-speed Wi-Fi, dedicated parking, work-friendly setup, self-check-in anytime, near the medical district. This is not just better copywriting. This is better positioning, because copywriting make your listing sounds prettier, nicer in some cases, but positioning makes the right guest say, oh yes, this place is for me. And that shift changed our bookings, our reviews, and honestly, even the kind of guests we attracted to our listing. And if you're currently setting up your Airbnb, or maybe even refreshing an existing Airbnb, I put together our free setup checklist that walks you through the exact things you need to win on Airbnb from day one. And frankly, y'all, some of the things that you can just ignore because they don't impact your reviews or your revenue, and you can grab it down below. Now, reviews will tell you what guests value after the stay, but guest messages can decide whether the stay blows up before the review is even written. And y'all, real talk, I understand. As hosts, we pour our hearts into putting together these properties, and you're answering messages sometimes late at night. You're managing cleaners, you're handling turnovers, and you're trying to solve these problems as quickly as you can. And eventually, a guest is going to send you a message that raises your blood pressure immediately after you've opened your phone and looked down at it. And if you're like me, it could be something like a refund request that frankly feels unfair. It could be a complaint about something that they should have raised while they were actually staying at the property. In our case, sometimes it's things like extra guests that they didn't mention before arrival. And I'm just going to be honest with you about this. There have been moments where I've typed responses that I'm actually, frankly, glad that I did not send in that actual moment. Because sometimes as hosts, here's some of the things that we don't realize. You're not just responding to that one guest. You are creating a record. That is a thread that can be screenshotted, pulled into your Airbnb support, quoted verbatim in the public review. So you're actually writing for three audiences at once. You're writing for your guests, you're writing for Airbnb support, and most importantly, you're writing for future guests who may eventually read that review and that review impacting their decision on whether or not they want to book your property. And I hope after hearing this, you get what I'm saying is that this should change how you communicate with your guests. And y'all, this is another case where ChatGPT became incredibly valuable in our business. Now, not because it's better at hospitality than we are, but because it's not emotional. So now, when I get a heated guest messages, I have a single rule. I do not respond from my phone. I immediately open my laptop and I will write the response I want to send, but I'm not going to send it right there, y'all. I will then paste it into ChatGPT in draft format. And here's what I'll ask it to do. Where is my tone potentially escalating the situation? Are there emotional cues from the guest message that I might have missed? And how do I rewrite this in my voice while still staying calm, clear, empathetic, and firm on the policy? And I hope you caught it because that in my voice part is the part that really matters. Because I don't want our messages sounding too corporate or too robotic. What I'm trying to achieve is a calmer, clearer version of myself. And there's one more thing I do before I send that message because it is actually that important. And so here's what I ask myself. Did I acknowledge the guest concern? Did I hold a boundary? Did I avoid blame language? And then most importantly, does this protect me if somebody else reads this later? And y'all, that framework alone has probably prevented more damage to our business than almost anything else that I've used ChatGPT for. Because empathy in this case doesn't mean giving away your revenue and upending your business. And boundaries don't mean sounding cold and disconnected. And what I've learned, y'all, so far in doing Airbnb for over a decade, the goal is not to win an argument. That is not why we are running this business. The goal is to look like the calmest, more reasonable, professional version of myself. The calmest person in the room is exactly what we are trying to strive for. And if you're finding this kind of content helpful and useful in running a profitable and peaceful Airbnb business, I want to invite you to like this video and hit subscribe because every single week, y'all, on this channel, I'm breaking down the real operational decisions behind better booking, stronger reviews, and a more stable Airbnb business. Now, this is not theory. This is real audits, real system, real examples I'm providing directly from our experience in running this business. So go and hit subscribe and let's keep going. Let's talk about the small operational issues that quietly damage trust before the guests ever leave the review. And y'all, what I need you to know is that most Airbnb problems are not dramatic. They're usually small things stacked together. A door code that is either sent too late or frankly doesn't work when your guests arrive and is standing outside of your property. Weak Wi-Fi in the back bedroom. Parking instructions that are not completely clear. Things like a guest who can't figure out where the trash can is. And any of those things in isolation, well, they tend to be fairly manageable. But when you stack 3 or 4 of these things together in the first hour of a guest stay, suddenly the guests start losing trust in your property and in your capabilities as a host. And once a guest loses trust in your property, you're going to spend the rest of the stay trying to rebuild it. And I've seen this happen over and over again in the reviews. You will see a guest say something like, the place was nice, but, and usually what comes after that but is generally responsible for a 1 or more star reduction in your rating. And I call this the trust stack because there are 5 things that guests need to trust immediately in your property. And that is arrival, travel, sleep, Wi-Fi, safety, and cleanliness. And even if a single one of those feel unstable, the entire stay starts to wobble. And so now I use ChatGPT to help me identify recurring operational patterns before they become permanent problems. And to do this, we're going to go back to the reviews. We're going to consider guest complaints. We're going to look at our message threads. And you're going to do this even if those issues were technically resolved. I then go and drop all of this into ChatGPT and I ask the following. Group recurring issues into categories like check-in, Wi-Fi, cleanliness, parking, communication, and expectations. And then rank which issues are most likely to damage review scores. And that ranking changes everything because not every problem is equal. A missing wine opener, well, that could just be annoying. A Wi-Fi failure during a remote work meeting, well, that gets a little bit more serious. And y'all, a smart lock failure at about 11 p.m. on Friday night, well, that's really getting serious. And what we do is anything that touches the trust stack, well, those things gets fixed first. And some of the smaller things that don't affect guest trust, well, we'll just go and put those at a list and just get to them in order. And honestly, y'all, that has changed the way we operate our business. And so before we reacted issue by issue, now we look at patterns. And once you start seeing your Airbnb this way, you're going to stop asking, how do I work harder? And instead, you're going to start asking, what keeps breaking in our business? And that is a much better question. And honestly, I think it's one of the biggest differences between casual hosting and professional operations. And y'all, let's go back for a second because running an Airbnb in 2026 requires that you be good at a lot of different things at once. Marketing, pricing, design, guest psychology, operations, communication, and software programs. And if you're like me, this may be happening to you while you're still working another job or balancing everything else like family and just life in general. And this should not come as a surprise because nobody's equally good at all of those things. I'm certainly not. And in almost every audit I've conducted with hosts just like you over this past year, I can tell you these hosts are not lazy. They're just overwhelmed. They don't know which problem matters most, and they're losing money because they're reacting emotionally instead of diagnostically. And that's why ChatGPT became a valuable partner in our business. Not a gimmick, not a robot writing our listings. I kind of think of it now as a second brain, a thought partner who's trained to recognize patterns. It is really a way to process operational noise and help me make better decisions. Y'all, that is the shift. I'm not using ChatGPT to sound smarter. I'm using it to think more clearly. And real quick, off the 4 problems we talked about, pricing, positioning, guest conflict, or even operations, which one of these is currently costing you the most money or stress in your business? Go and drop that number down in the comment section. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And y'all, I'm going to read every single comment and give you additional insights into the issues that you raise in your comment. And if I start to see a pattern in your comments, I may build the next video entirely around that issue. And here's the thing I want you to understand. You can fix your pricing. You can improve your positioning. You can clean up your operations. You can send the perfect messages and still get your listing buried, or even worse, put your account at risk of being banned. That is because there are a set of behaviors that Airbnb is quietly tracking behind the scenes, and most of us as hosts don't realize that they're even doing it. And I break down every one of these behaviors in this video right here. And if you're serious about protecting the business that you're building right now, well, that is your next move, because when you pair what you've learned in this video with that one, you're going to be ahead of 90% of the other hosts in your market. I'm over there waiting. See you in a few minutes.